Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
New at 6, a community wondering if this woman will ever get justice. Is she the forgotten victim of a serial killer? Thanks for being with us. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm DeMont Fernandez in for Devin tonight. Now, you may remember the story of convicted serial killer D'Angelo Martin. A new report is raising some questions on how Detroit police handled his case. It's also a painful reminder to those who knew Deborah Reynolds that she has never received justice. Sean Lay is joining us live to explain the connection and the questions. Hi, Sean.
DeMont, I'm glad you said the name Deborah Reynolds. Look, she's connected definitely to the Detroit serial killer case, only no charges ever after her body was found in an abandoned house. People could say that she is the forgotten victim here, only we will not forget her.
Just like an absolute reign of terror. That was just insane that this all went on.
Kyle Joe Hicks, known as Brother Joe, also known for his street ministry. Every night on Detroit streets, he brings food, clothing, shoes to those living on the streets. He remembers meeting D'Angelo Martin before he was linked to multiple murders of women in Detroit. And now an investigation by the Associated Press detailing missteps by investigators, dots not connected that could have stopped him far earlier.
This made it even more outlandish and outrageous and infuriating that, they had the goods on him, and it was never properly taken care of.
We have documented the case of Deborah Reynolds, found dead in a vacant home off Woodward near 7 Mile. We documented how Ferndale police found Martin and Reynolds at a gas station in August of 2018 and gave them a ride back into Detroit. Reynolds later found dead. Martin never charged in her case. Deborah Reynolds, a forgotten victim that we will not forget.
That one woman, she's worthy of having all the attention in the world to bring this out that, something has got to be done about this stuff.
Back here live, Attorney Todd Perkins, he has been trying to do something about the case of Deborah Reynolds, representing her heartbroken family, taking things to court, although things may be stalling out. We're checking with him tonight, guys, to see where that exactly stands. We'll continue to ask questions and press to see why charges were never filed in her homicide, in her murder. We're live tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4, back to you guys.
Keep us posted. Sean, we appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, it looks like our Michigan income tax rate is going down, but then it's going to go back up.
The 2023 rate dipped slightly because state revenues increased enough to trigger a cut for taxpayers. Republican lawmakers passed legislation offering that tax relief, and they went to court hoping to keep the cut in place, but a new court ruling has put that in jeopardy. Business editor Rod Maloney is in the newsroom to show us the impact on your tax bill. Rod?
Yeah, good evening, Kimberly. This is the judge's decision. It's a lengthy tome, 30 pages, and essentially it's saying that the Republican legislature in 2015 wrote a vague law, not giving clarity as to whether these kinds of tax cuts are supposed to become permanent. But that's not what the Republicans who brought the case say. They say they intended for tax rates to ratchet down permanently if the income went up to a sufficient spot. So for now, though, based on the decision, that's not going to happen. The then Republican legislature looked to reduce the state income tax as long as there was money to pay for it. So in the 2022 tax year, you paid 4.25%. In 2023, you will pay a tiny bit less, 4.05%. It's a big tax refund, $750 million back in your pocket. Republican legislators and businesses went to Judge Elizabeth Gleicher asking her to keep the 2023 rate at 4.05 in 2024. The state, led by Attorney General Dana Nessel, who believes the tax cut should only be temporary, wants it to revert back to the 4.25%. In her ruling, Judge Gleicher said, quote, "The situation is temporary. Logically, it would make little sense to provide a permanent tax cut based on economic circumstances that exist in one calendar year," end quote. The Mackinac Policy Center says logically that's exactly what the legislature approved. Patrick Wright is the Mackinac Center's senior legal analyst who's planning an immediate appeal.
It's a temporary speed bump. I don't think that the logic of the case that the judge applied is all that strong. And so I think we'll be able to argue around it pretty easily.
He said the Republican legislature clearly wanted Michigan's 5 million taxpayers to get an income tax cut whenever possible.
Michigan survived until 1967 without one. There are 9 states currently that don't have income taxes.
So the next step is the appeals court and more likely the Michigan Supreme Court, and it's probably going to be sometime perhaps this time next year before we know whether the final Michigan 2024 tax rate settles and where it settles. In the newsroom, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
Okay, Rod, thank you. A local gas station owner is denying allegations of price gouging, but the Attorney General has warned him to cease and desist. You may have seen the BP station on Middle Belt near Detroit's Metro Airport. A special agent visited the area twice this past week and found unleaded gasoline for $4.75 a gallon. Some say it's not unusual for stations near an airport to charge more so people can avoid high rental refill fees. We got the owner of the station on the phone. Listen.
We don't look at it as price gouging. I think price gouging is if the state is out of gas and we're the only one with gas and we're charging an extreme price for gas. That's price gouging. I don't see this price gouging. This is our price. This is what we charge.
The owner says he couldn't reach anyone at the AG's office today, the day, of course, before a holiday weekend. The price at the pump today was $4.08 with a credit card. The owner has until January 8th to respond or could face a formal investigation or a civil lawsuit. All right, whether you're traveling, shopping, visiting family, the forecast for the next few days is critical.
Yeah, we're tracking rain to start the weekend. Let's head over to Ron Hilliard, who's in for Kim Adams tonight. Hey there, Ron.
Come on, Kimberly, we are looking at the rain showers already starting to move into parts of Metro Detroit. The exact Track 4D radar shows that a lot of the activity around I-69 and northward, but we're also seeing some of those rain showers around Grand Blanc. We're seeing them as you get over towards St. Clair County with a few of those spotty showers around Algonac and also around Port Huron. So we will see more rain moving in our direction as we get into the next few hours. Here's the rainfall right there, the leading edge of it over toward Lansing, Jackson, Kalamazoo, and more on the way. All of this has to make its way through our area as we get into the overnight hours and into tomorrow. Tonight, there's a lot happening downtown. Little Caesars Arena, the Red Wings are playing, and we have the conditions out there pretty comfortable. Temperatures ranging from the upper 30s to around the lower 40s out there. We will be seeing, of course, the temperatures still in the upper 30s over the next few hours. We have a forecast that will show that we have the rain coming into our area tonight. We have some very warm weather for our Christmas, and all of the details on how to plan your travels for this weekend are coming up.
Well, some of you might miss the tradition of a white Christmas, but so far the weather is making travel much, much easier than last year. Here's a live look right now at Metro Airport and I-275 at 5 Mile. We don't have any reports of big travel troubles, but more people hit the road, of course, tomorrow. Jacqueline Francis is live at Metro Airport. Jacqueline, we've been hearing it's smooth sailing so far.
That's right. There are a few more delays than there were earlier. Right now, there are about 10 or 11 delays out of Metro Airport, but still nothing bad, especially compared to the West Coast. Like out at LAX, they're seeing far more delays that could have some impact here, but not too much. And focusing back here on where we're at, baggage claim, we've seen so many families coming together, reunions, military members coming home. It's just so fun this time of year just to sit and people watch. Take a listen.
We're waiting for our older sister. She's coming home from basic training in the military and Air Force.
Yeah.
So,
are you guys so proud of her?
Yeah.
Overall flight was smooth. I was very surprised to hear karaoke in the airport. That's something that I think is way out of left field. But hey, it's Detroit. We got a lot of music here, and they're living up to the spirit.
There was karaoke. I'm told that karaoke in the terminal was put on by Delta for the holiday season. Just one of the many fun festivities happening here at the airport to make travel just a little more fun for those coming home and taking off. Reporting live from Metro Airport, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
Let's hope it stays smooth. Okay, Jacqueline, thank you. We're learning more about a phone call from former President Donald Trump to 2 Republican members of the Wayne County Board of Canvassers.
Yeah, there have been reports saying the call existed, but now journalists at the Detroit News say they've listened to the recordings. The Detroit News is reporting Trump said things like, quote, "We've got to fight for our country," while urging the canvassers not to sign the certification of the 2020 presidential election. Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel is also reportedly heard on the call, telling the canvassers not to sign and promising to get them attorneys. Local 4 has not independently obtained or verified the recording, but Detroit News reports none of the people involved disputed the summary when contacted. The 2 GOP officials did try to rescind their votes to certify the results, but it was too late. One Harvard constitutional expert says if it's all true, the call illustrates a pattern of behavior.
This is all part and parcel, it appears, of an extended plot going back way before January 6th and extending right up until the violent insurrection, an attempt to interfere with the central process of democracy, the process of making a peaceful transition to the newly elected president.
Now, a Trump campaign spokesperson told the Detroit News that Trump's actions, quote, were taken in furtherance of his duty as president of the United States to faithfully take care of the laws and ensure election integrity. Now, we should point out every court case in Michigan alleging election irregularities was rejected. Now, we've reached out for additional comment from the key players and are still waiting to hear back. Mr. Trump is scheduled to go on trial in March, pending his battle seeking presidential immunity from the charges.
Plenty of families in the Westland Community School District are relieved tonight, but also still wondering what comes next. The school board voted against starting layoffs in the new year. Several parents were against the move in spite of a $23 million budget deficit. The district had proposed cutting 20 jobs, including social workers and student monitors. Some parents are also demanding accountability for the mess. Now the layoffs are on hold, and the problem of fixing the budget is to be continued in the new year.